No, it's not deja vu, we're back with Air France's 777-300ER. But this time I'm up front in business class. Air France KLM is one company but two separate airlines. I got to fly on KLM in business and didn't particularly like it. Many of the viewers of that review didn't particularly like that video either. Can the French one-up their Dutch colleagues? Let's find out. Hey, so it's me while editing this. I took a lot of great footage for this video on a DJI Pocket 2 camera, of the seat, food, service, etc. But you won't be seeing that, because someone in the Athens metro stole my camera with the footage from my bag. Of course, my immediate reaction was,
This is a crisis.
What am I gonna do?
Now, I could throw a temper tantrum about losing a camera, but instead I'll try and turn this lemon into lemonade. So can I even make a review with no A-roll footage and only use B-roll? Well, here's my attempt. Both this and the next Air France review are going to suffer because of the theft. Perhaps it's just yet another example of Greece bringing down the rest of the Eurozone. But anyway, on with the review. I arrived at Terminal 5 at O'Hare, where they finally added a TSA pre-check line. Check-in was very long as they needed to check everyone's COVID documents. I sadly lost all the footage of the Air France lounge, which is just as well. It was rather modest with all self-serve food and drink with nothing remarkable. Terminal 5 is undergoing major renovations, so the gate area is a bit of a mess. There was only a single line to board the plane, and many more folks started boarding during pre-boarding than there should have been, and it quickly devolved into a general stampede. There's always at least one diva per flight, and one platinum member decided to chew out the poor gate agents, saying that there should have been a dedicated Sky Priority lane. How well. Air France, like KLM, unfortunately has a rather inconsistent business class product. Their 787s and some of the 777s have business class in a 121 reverse herringbone. Some of the aircraft have a 232, which I find unacceptable. This diva uses his miles for direct aisle access only. The A350, inherited from the failure June, has a third type of seat, which they are going to refit on some of their high-density 777s as well, primarily to the Caribbean. Seeing my seat selection disappear at check-in, I feared the worst, but I was greeted with the classic reverse herringbone seat common between Air France and KLM. I've covered this seat before on KLM and Sri Lankan, so I'll be brief. It's decent, though, with limited privacy and awkward window access. There's not much storage, though legroom isn't that bad. Each seat has a pillow and blanket, though no coat hanger that is traditional, and I'd just seen only weeks earlier. The cabin crew did offer to hang my non-existent coat, though. The TV is a bit dated and swings out. There's a TV remote with a separate screen, and a large storage closet with the headphones. Both the exterior and furnishings of the seat were definitely a bit worn. Initially, only water or juice was offered. Boarding didn't take long with the light passenger load, but we didn't depart on time. 30 minutes later, we got our first announcement that we were going to be delayed due to congestion. With only an hour 10 layover in Paris, I started to get worried. With the door closed, the champagne could finally flow, which was poured just as we pushed back 40 minutes late and watched the safety video, which I must say is perhaps the most French thing I've ever seen. We took off 50 minutes late. Flying time was 7 hours and 23 minutes at 38,000 feet, and we fortunately made up a significant amount of time. The meal was not displayed on the screen like in economy, but we were handed a paper menu. Sadly, no footage of the food. The lobster salad was spicy and good, while the smoked pork had a good smoky flavor. There was also some marinated fennel and pear, which isn't something I'd think of, but it worked. There was a choice of bread, and I went with some olive bread. The salad, sadly, was uninspired, just some spring mix with oil and balsamic in a container. There were 4 choices of mains, and I went for the chicken and chorizo. The chicken was well cooked but rather bland. The Espelette chili pepper sauce was an absolute must to make it palatable, but with it, it was decent. The Sauvignon Blanc I had accompanying it was much better than the turpentine served back in economy. Next came a cheese course of brie chèvre and a hard peppery one. Finally, for dessert, there were 3 small cake squares, quite similar to what United has in their Polaris lounge. I thought it was a fine way to end a 4-course meal, but dessert lovers might be wanting a bit more. On the whole, significantly better than the seafood slop or burger I had been served on KLM. I reclined the bed for sleep with the pillow and blanket and realized there was no amenity kit. I initially thought this was cut due to COVID, but it turns out they were upon request. I only realized that when disembarking. Oh well, I carry my Turkish eye shades around for a reason. I managed to sleep for about 5 hours and awoke in time for breakfast. It was a light affair, with juice, coffee or tea, some pastries, yogurt, and fruit. Again, I found this fine as I tend not to like heavy breakfast on planes, but if you're looking for an omelet, you'll be disappointed. One final note was the crew. They were very friendly, and service was great, especially due to the light load. Please don't misunderstand what I am about to say, but I need to point something out. As has been established in other videos, I can pass for nearly anything. My French, while rusty, isn't half bad, and sometimes when flying I'll speak in French or Spanish, depending on the airline, for practice, and to see if the service is any different. When flying this route in economy, I had used French, and it had great service. On this leg I was using English, and again, service was great. But I did notice much more personalized service for the passengers in front and behind me, both French, than I received. They were addressed by name while I never was. The purser asked them at the end of the flight how things were and noticeably skipped my row. A single observation, I know. Perhaps they were frequent flyers on this route and the crew recognized them. The next flight I switched back to French and was addressed by name. Just a coincidence, surely. Yes, it's very minor and trivial, but I just tell it like I see it. We arrived in Paris on a cloudy day, and took the same approach from the west I've now narrated 3 times, past Le Bourget, and touched down at Paris-Charles de Gaulle. I was hoping for a quick transfer, but we taxied to a remote stand on the north side of the airport. We deplaned by row, and business class got our own dedicated bus, which was great. Then I had to dash from 2E to 2F, which was less great. So Air France 777-300ER in business class. I liked it, honestly. Is it some great aspirational award? No, but it is a very solid product. The whole trip from Chicago to Paris to Athens cost 53,000 miles and $242 in taxes and fees, which, while it may have cost more money than other programs, is pretty good value in my book. Award availability has also been pretty reliable. In that respect, it's similar to Air Canada or United, just with much better food and service. So, moving forward, have I found my next go-to airline for business class to Europe? On va voir. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click that button and please subscribe for many more flight reviews to come. I'll see you next time for Air France's European business class on the A319.